Hello and welcome to the Home and Learn video course for visualbasic.net. I'm Kenny Connie, and what are we doing today? We're going to be moving on to string manipulation. A big part of your programming life is manipulating strings of text. For example, you might want to convert to uppercase, to lowercase. You might want to check an email address to see if it has a @ sign or ends in .com or all host of things. You're going to be using string manipulation in the next section when we work with text files. So it's a good idea to get used to all of these. Substrings, inserts. We're going to be doing probably these three in this video. So let's make a start. I've already created a form. I've called my string manipulation my project, a new project. I've added a button. That is button 1. I'll change the name of that. Let's try btn case. I added a text box. I just left it on text box 1. But let me enter some text. I will enter my own name in lowercase. Right. Have a double click with your button. Create a code stub. Now, you've seen how to set up a string variable. Let me see. I'll call it change case as string, and we'll get that text from the text box. Change case equals text box 1 dot text. And yep, I've got that one there. Right, so I want to change the case of the text in the text box. And to do that, let me have the text box. Add that one again. Text box 1 dot text. Right, so to start with your string manipulation, you always want the name of a string, change case. Then if you type a dot, you'll see a whole host of these. These are functions and properties, all sorts of things you can do. Got equals there. I don't know what the first does. Index of insert. Length is a popular one. Length of the string. And you've got all these to play around with. One we want. That one is one we're going to be doing, substring. There's the 2 lower, but we want 2 upper. We want to convert it to uppercase. There it is. It's a function. So you add 2 upper, then you want a pair of round brackets. You see there's one of 2 there. Cultures, globalization. We won't be doing that. Right, so that is enough to convert whatever string you've got in here to uppercase, and I'm putting it back into the text box. Let's see how that works. My button, and there it is. It's converted to uppercase. If you want it the other way around, if it's already uppercase, then obviously it's too many dots there. Too lower. You would want that one with a pair of empty round brackets. It changes it to lowercase. Another thing I can do is trim any unwanted space. Like suppose I had some white space at the beginning or at the end, and you can trim that one off. First of all, you can always check for a text box to see whether there is actually anything in it, and you can do it like this. In just a pair of double quotes with no space. And you put then, what can I have? Text box 1 dot text equals just some text, enter a name. Now we can add an else part. If there is something in it, what I want to do is trim. Change case equals change case again, and I type a dot, and there's trim. There's 3 trims. trim from the end, trim from the start. We'll just have that one. Again with a pair of round brackets. Right. You could do this. Oh, text box one again. Text box one. Text equals. Change case. Right. So we're trying that one. Okay. So if I had some space here, say if it was like this, you want to trim all this white space at the beginning. Yeah, there we go, it's trimmed it off with the word trim. You can also do this. Let's have a look. Let me delete that one. You can do trim. Round brackets, then take the dot. Oops, no, I don't want that. Dot. And you can convert it as well to lower. Was it 2 up before? 2 lower. We'll have 2 up, right? So it does the whole thing at once. Round brackets. Change case, trim it, and convert it to uppercase. Let me see if that works. Let me add the space. Change case. There, it's trimmed the space and it's converted it all on the same line. So those ones are quite straightforward, they're quite easy. Something a little bit more complicated is the difference between char and chars, plural. I'll add another button for this one. The on. Make it a little bit bigger. Char/chars. Yeah, another text box. Yeah, another text box. I changed the name of this button as well. Call it BTN Chars. I'll leave that one on text box 2. Yeah, it should be okay. Double click your new button to get the code. And we have a type of comment right at the top. Chars. Right, let's talk about those two. Right, so chars singular is a variable type, just like integers and strings. I can type one character as, and now there's a char variable singular. And if you hold your mouse over it, it'll tell you it represents a character as a UTF-16 code unit. Sure, that explains everything. And it stores one single character, that's what it's basically saying. So I can store letter A inside there. I can also, if I take, say, apple, it would simply get the first character from there. So we'd ignore all of that and just get the A for apple. So it holds one single character from there. That's what char does. And right, so what we can do with that, we can take a single character one at a time and inspect what is inside of it. We'll take a name from the text box. I'll tell you what we can do. So I've put the name there. Let me just put Kenny 1, 2, 3, 4. I've decided to check if a name. I've spelled my own name wrong. 2, 3, 4. Alright. And we can take each character at a time to see whether it contains a number or a letter. Do that one. So grab, let me try first name, first name, string. I'll get the length of the name. We might be needing that length of name is. We'll put it in integer for that one. Integer. We're going to be looping around, so we'll have a variable. And yeah, that does. So we need the first name. First name. We'll get that from the text box. equals text box. That was 2, wasn't it? Text box 2. And the text of that. Right. So, if you wanted to grab the length of the name, you want to know how many characters a string has, and length of name. Then you want your string variable, which was first name. Then type a dot again, as you do with all of these. And there's a length property, length. Doesn't need any round brackets. And that will tell you how many characters is in the string first name. How many characters. So what I want to do, I want to loop around this first name, and I want to inspect each character, and I want to test to see whether it is a letter or a number. So I want to loop for I equals 0, 2, and we can have that length of name. Length of name. Right, -1, because I'm starting at 0 again. Next, I'll put that. Right, and that one character, I can store something in one character, and what I'm going to store in, I get with chars, plural, first name, then the dot, and you'll see if I type char, there's chars, it's a property, read-only property. Double click that one. And I need a pair of round brackets, the index number, which I'm getting from the loop. That's R. I could type a straight number in like 2, and it will get the second number, or 0 and 2, from the string. That'll be the 4th number or the 5th number. So just a single character. We want I, because it's coming from the loop, right? I equals 0. So we'll get the first character from first name and store it in one character. Then you can check if it is a number by using a function called isNumeric. So I'm going to test for that. If is numeric, then some round brackets. Then I'm trying to check one character, right? That's only one character. Then scroll that up and add a message box. Sure. And number found, and that one character. We can inspect that. Add a space for that one. Right, so loop around the whole of this thing. Length of name. I'm inspecting just a single character with chars, the chars property. I'm grabbing I. Oh, started 0, so I'm going through the whole of first name. Then I've got an if statement using isNumeric to see whether it is a number, and displaying it in a message box. Start. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4. Number found 1. Number found 2, number found 3, and number found 4. So it's found all those numbers in the name. At a later stage, I might want to do something with that. I might want to chop all of those numbers out, for example, or storing it somewhere else. Or if I wanted to count how many numbers there are, I could set up a counter variable. Right, counter integer. Right, I can set it up there rather than at the top. And I could do something like increment that counter. Counter equals counter plus 1. And then I could snip this out of here and stick it on the end outside the for loop. Right, let me put that on there, and let me have my counter variable there. I'll have numbers found. How many? And my counter variable. Let me get rid of that space. Right, debug. Start. And it's found 4. Numbers found 4. And I think we'll leave it there. And so the next one will be covering more string manipulations.